it's early, and obviously your current roster is probably not going to be the entire roster that comes for opening day, but the way that it's currently standing, what do you think is the biggest strength about this club coming into 2023?
Gosh, when you look at some performers, when you look at our corners, those guys performed extremely well last year and are getting after it as we speak. Edmund Donovan did a really nice job up the middle. When you look at Gorman and the offseason he's having right now and just addressing certain things, you feel pretty positive about that. And then we talked about it quite a bit, our outfield, and getting production out of them. The way they're going about it right now and addressing their offseason also is encouraging. So, yeah, we look forward to it.
Players talk about good situations, bad situations. When you talk to them in these meetings, does word get around that the Cardinals are a good place to play, a baseball city, a good culture?
Yeah, I think that's known, and we've been known for that for a very long time. People respect the way we go about our process and our overall culture and just the stability of the organization. So there's a lot of respect whenever you sit down with these players and then talk to them about what the possibilities are. It's definitely an advantage for us.
When you look at the outfielders you have on the roster right now, who would you say you would preference to put in center on opening day?
It's wide open. It really is. It's a competition. I've said it quite a bit over the last year, and we'll go into spring training that way. We have guys that can play center, and guys that have shown they're obviously pretty good in the corners, but it'll be a competition.
Have you been able to watch much film on Jordan Walker? I know you got to know him a little bit in spring training last year.
He hits the ball hard.
Is that a plus?
That's a plus. He hits it really hard. But no, there's other intangibles that go along with just his exit velocity. This is a guy that processes information well, very coachable. He's just the way he goes about it is pretty professional, especially for his age. But if you're just talking about his skill set, it's elite, and we look forward to seeing him.
Oli, what have you learned in the last year, and how have you grown as a manager and as a person? I'm sure that the job kind of grew on you a little bit.
Yeah, the way I was just asked that moments ago, and the way I'd answer is that honesty plays at the big league level. Those guys don't want to guess where they stand or what you're thinking, and it's always good to be able to tell them exactly what you're thinking and be honest with them. And they have the ability to be honest with me if they see something that they don't like. So I would say that honesty is a good way to go about addressing your staff and your players.
Does one get comfortable after 1 year, or are you comfortable in the role? How would you describe your...
Defines how you define comfortable.
How would you define it?
Am I settling in? Yes. I don't think you ever want to be comfortable. You always want to figure out what else can I be doing to improve our situation, our organization. So, but am I settling in? Absolutely. Yeah.
How long did it take you to get over the playoffs, or do you ever get over it? Is it still lingering?
The way you asked that would be like I'm over it.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you ever do, and it's good to not kind of just get over it. You learn from it and kind of put it aside, absolutely, but it's something that hopefully, eats at all of us for a little bit. It's what winners do. They hate losing. So, yeah, it stinks. We'll move on.
This past year, your lineup produced 2 of the top 3 vote getters for the MVP, and Albert Pujols had another Pujols type year. But beyond that, the production kind of was inconsistent.
Agreed. Didn't
radiate through. How do you address it? Do you count on improved performance from some of the guys who have been years?
I think you
look at the mix.
No, I think you address it a couple different ways, and part of it is what we're doing right now during these meetings. You're finding a catcher that you can insert into the middle of the lineup, but you're also counting on higher production from certain guys. Tyler O'Neill is going to have to produce more than he produced this year, and he's going about it in a way that's going to give him the best shot to do that. You look at Carlson and some of the other guys, they're going to take this offseason very serious, and at the end of the day, put very plainly, they're going to have to produce at a higher rate.
Is it oversight? A couple of those guys you mentioned, health, or is there more to it?
A little bit. Some of it was health this year, and it's hard to get into a rhythm whenever you're in and out of the lineup due to injury. And then some of it is also approach-based, mechanics-based, a combination of all of it. So, yeah.
What's your leadoff?
What's today's date?
Yeah. December 6th.
December 6th.
Okay. Give me a couple months.
Yeah.
No,
No, what's
very
the?
true.
Who's your opening?
You're right. Who's the rotation? Yeah.
No, I mean, what do you maybe not who? How much in flux is the leadoff spot, and how much do you think that plays?
We
into
have
it?
some options there, and I haven't. Yeah, we have some options to be able to lead off, and as we get closer, it'll be a little more defined, and as we go through spring training, even more. But at the moment, I know it's not you. It's basically
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys have talked about needing lineup intervention around the Oldsmith and Arenado. There's been a lot of talk this offseason about maybe the value of left-handed hitters on the rise with some of the changes we're going to see in the air. Do you feel like you guys, the lineup needs a left-handed presence that's not currently on the team? Do you see maybe that coming from a guy like Nolan Gorman if he improves? What do you think?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, can you go get a left-handed bat? Absolutely. I think that's part of the conversation, but it's also what can we count on with what we have? Like, can we count on Burleson having a good offseason and coming in and being able to produce similar to what he did in AAA? Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment, but can he be that left-handed bat? Can Gorman be that for us? And you have certain guys that can step up into that role. And when you look at it, Tyler O'Neill's hitting the way we think he can, and he can also be protection. So, yeah, not from the left side, but you know what I'm saying.
What's the message to Gorman? We talked a lot about these guys we haven't seen yet. He's exciting. He comes up. He has
Gorman's done a
some
good
power,
job.
but he
Yeah.
also struggled with it.
No, he did, and he understands that. I had a really good conversation with him. He's also struggled and then caught up to the league at every level, right? So when you look at his overall season, was it what he hoped for? No. Did he strike out more than he wanted? Absolutely. And he's making some real changes to be able to address that and be able to get to the top of his zone and catch it to the fastball there, lay off the one that he can't do anything with. So that's being addressed as we speak. But I think him settling in a little bit can also help. Yeah.
What characteristics do you most value in a catcher? That's a leadership position. Does that need to be a defensive-minded spot, or obviously you can improve offensively from that spot?
I think it's a combination of things, and we're not just looking. We had a very, very good catcher for a long time, and one of the most respected competitors in our game, right? So it's not just finding the best defender or the best bat out there that can catch. It's the overall package of someone that's going to fit our culture and add to it. And also there's a difference between guys that just like being big leaguers and guys that love winning. And we want to make sure we get it right and get the guy that loves winning, who wakes up thinking about winning, goes to sleep thinking about winning. And that's a big difference. So when you look at not having Yachty and filling that, we want to make sure we get it right.
When you say Tyler O'Neill's doing everything this offseason to put himself in position to have a good year, what does that look like for you? Yeah.
I think it's a combination of the performance side of the weight room and just getting his body ready for 162 games plus playoffs, so that he can answer the bell every day. But it's also mechanically making some adjustments that are going to allow him to have more success. So we feel good about the direction he's headed. But now it's a matter of getting spring training and showing that he's capable of doing what he did a couple years ago.
You had a bunch of young middle relief talent kind of jump off the map. Think about Thompson, Palante, Hicks had a healthy year. How important is that trio going to be in your bullpen next year?
Very important. It really is. And just take Hicks, for example. This is a guy that's maturing extremely well. He has more of a routine. He's going about it in a much more professional manner. He cares about his career, and we're excited about the progress he made this year. He did a really nice job of just showing up and having an actual routine that's going to allow him to have success. So keeping him healthy is going to be important. Palante, regardless of what role we put him in, he was just phenomenal. And coming back in for a second year, part of the nerves and just expectations, you remove that and allow him to just go be himself. And I think we're going to have a really good pitcher in our hands. And then you mentioned there's a bucket of other guys that we're wanting to make sure have solid off seasons that could help us in the Liberators and Zach and that whole group. So, yeah, we look forward to seeing all of them.
As much as we've talked about catching this offseason with a bunch of you guys, what have the conversations with Kiz been like? That's a guy who's, had to carry you for a little bit last year behind the plate, and a guy who's at kind of a crossroads point in his career here.
In what way?
In that you all have been pretty clear that we're looking for a starting catcher. That's a guy who has come up through your system, who's been in a role where it seems like he's going to continue in that role rather than having a chance to expand it, maybe.
Yeah, we're in the market for an everyday catcher.
So what have the conversations with Kiz been like in terms of that? Like,
Kiz is going to go about his off season like he normally does. This is a guy that really cares, who's extremely prepared. When you talk to our pitchers, they love having him in that clubhouse because of the way he prepares and goes about his work. So, are we going to match that with someone that can catch every day and take the bulk of it? Absolutely. And our hope is that he comes in, talking about adjustments, he's making certain adjustments to offensively produce at a higher rate than he has over the last couple of years. It's tough being in the role that he's been because the consistency of play is just hit or miss. But yeah, he's a guy that we like having, and our staff likes having. So,
Oli, in hindsight, when you look back to last year, how do you view the Hicks and Palante starting experiments? How would you handle that differently? How does that inform what you do with some guys this coming year?
yeah, it's a good question. I don't know if I don't think we would do anything differently. I think we needed to find out if it was real or not, and we felt really comfortable having them in the bullpen towards the later part of the year. I think Hicks does a better job, and Delonte showed that he can spot start or go out of the pen, like depending on what you're looking for and what the rest of our rotation looks like. But I don't think we would do anything different because it informed us how we want to move forward this upcoming year. At some point, you got to find out if you can do it.
Is Zach Thompson in that spot for this coming year?
Yeah. Health is going to be, our rotation is what it is, and we're going to figure out, if everybody's healthy, then we don't need Zach in the rotation. It's just a reality. So we'll see how everybody comes in, finish the spring, and go from there.
Oli, when you mentioned some of the pitchers on the staff, you mentioned what's something you would like to see them train next year?
Being able to command the fastball. Yeah, he leaves it at the top of his zone quite a bit, and it gets hit. Not miss on it, so his ability to command that pitch is going to be a key.
What do you see with him? Like, when you factor in the roster,
I'm having trouble hearing.
Oh, but with him, like, just looking ahead to next year, like, how do you see him factoring into like the rotation staff?
I hope all those guys we're talking about make it really difficult on us. I hope they come in and wow us with what they're doing during spring. The reality is that they've had an opportunity to show us what they're capable of doing. They've had good outings, they've had bad outings. But at the end of the day, like Libby, for example, there's some real work there, and he's going to have to take to it. And we'll evaluate it once we see it.
And, where does your rotation lead this season? You had Jack and Steven in the bullpen.
Yeah.
You're counting on them. You just said if all things are healthy, you're counting on them to be starters.
Absolutely.
Quintana Freeman, but Michaelis returns, Montgomery returns. Do you start running out of seats for Dakota if everybody's healthy? Well, yeah, Wayne. Yeah.
So you do run out of seats if everybody's healthy, and that's what I love about competition is come in and try to take somebody's job, make it hard on us. But when all those guys that you just named are healthy, that is your rotation.
How much was it good for your peace of mind the way Jack finished the regular season, and now moving forward he's going to be healthy for the first time in a while?
I really look forward to that. I had a good conversation with him last night. He's feeling really good about where everything's at. His workouts, weight room, everything's in a really, really good spot right now. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Jack this spring.
We've talked about expectations for him. Is it what he did in 19, or is it a totally different guy? But you said once a guy's done it, that's the expectation, right?
It is, and if you ask Jack, that he's trying to even be better than that. I don't think he's going to set a ceiling for what he's capable of doing, and he's preparing in a way to be able to repeat what we've seen when he's really good.
Going off of that, what are reasonable expectations for Steven Matz? This is a guy that you identified last year as the pitcher you wanted, making a significant amount of money. For the unfortunate year in terms of injuries, what are fair expectations for him when he returns?
What we signed him to do, which is the ball fifth day and give us real innings. And it was unfortunate that the injuries he had with the knee and the shoulder, but at the end of the day, we're counting on him to be a big part of our rotation.
Challenging based on the rule changes we're going to see. You guys aren't until the shifted at times. How do you work for him now?
I actually think he impressed me with his defense more than I anticipated. I thought he did a really nice job. I'm not overly concerned with his range, his ability to bring his backhand. And to be honest, he turns a really good double play. So am I concerned with the no shift and him being able to play second every day?
Ben was asking about left-handed hitting earlier. We can cherry pick a little bit, but it's very easy because in the postseason you face two right-handed starters. All October, we saw what right-handed starters do against lineups.
Yeah.
I mean, for you all to be the postseason successful team, does that have to change? You need some kind of left-handed
It's definitely
component?
more than on our radar. It's part of the discussion during the days that we're here. And our focus at the moment is, Rose made it clear, we need to walk away with the catcher. And then we'll dive into what's next from there. But the focus right now is someone be able to sit behind the plate and catch the ball.
That's obviously because you can't have a ball go to the backstop.
By rule.
By rule. And that's a lot of extra bases to give up, which I know you guys want to avoid.
Yes.
Speaking of extra bases, to have that kind of production from the left side, is that essential now? Is that, I mean, like, over there, Harper, Schwarber, I mean, is that just how the game's played? To put a point on it, you struggled against right-handed pitching, top right-handed pitching, and you did that even with MVPs in the mix. So to change that look of the offense, does it have to be left side?
It's helpful if it is.
Okay.
And now the conversation is, you give Corman those at-bats or Burleson those at-bats, or you go to the free agent market. And then what does that look like? But yeah, it's helpful to be able to combat a really good right-hand pitcher. Yes.
Is Duke? Isn't it like Lars?
Lars?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, that's what I mean. You mentioned Gorman and Burleson. I mean, it's new.
When you're looking at the potential of at-bats coming from second base from Donovan and Gorman, and then from the DH spot of Burleson, Duke will play the outfield every day.
You're going to have three big horses in the World Baseball Classic. Will that give you more at-bats to use in spring training?
Yeah, it gives you the ability to give other people at-bats and get a good look on certain guys. But,
I know you talked about the catching generally. Wilson Contreras, just because he's not a left-handed guy, but he's got a little bit of that. What kind of a fit would that be for you? And how well do you
there's a couple guys that'd be a good fit, and it's a matter of us taking a step back and making sure that we get it right. But Wilson is a very good competitor, and earlier we talked about loving winning, and this is a guy that loves to win, who wakes up thinking about it, goes to sleep thinking about it, and we've seen quite a bit across the way. And it's a guy you don't want to compete against because you know he's pretty good. So yeah, he's a great competitor, and we respect his game.
He's a guy who I've covered since he came up in Chicago, and I know how passionate he is about things like that. I think he would be extremely motivated, especially maybe to stay in the division and give you a chance to win it against each other. Does that come into play at all when you consider a guy like that, when you come in a little bit chip on his shoulder, who's already kind of got that edge to him anyway?
Does it have crazy weight? No, because you're more evaluating his skill set and just overall competitive nature, not so much just because he's going to be competing across the way from the team he just came from. I think there's other attributes that we would weigh a lot more than that, but if we're saying, is he a competitor that loves winning? Yes. Yeah.
My understanding is that you may have talked to him fairly recently. Did you learn anything about him that you didn't already know, you think?
Yeah, I was able to spend some time with him, and me and Mo spent a decent amount of time with him and his agent, and it was a good visit. It really was. When you set aside everything from a competitive, seeing him across the way, you're just having a conversation with him and learning kind of what drives him and what motivates him and what he's looking for moving forward. It's telling.
It's so easy to say. You seem pretty adamant.
Your face.
You knew it as soon as you said it.
You wanted to say it. I mean, it seemed like you wanted to put it out there.
Well, it's not putting it out there. My hope is he comes ready to go and he wins the job to go every day. My hope is that for T.O. My hope is that for Dylan. But at the end of the day, this is a guy that trajectory-wise was showing the ability to produce day to day and answer the bell every day. He prepares in a way that is extremely meaningful. So if you're asking me, is it his job? No, all these guys are going to compete, but he's showing the ability to do that well.
That could be in a different.
Your face is priceless.
That could be in a different spot every day.
That's the part where it's not defined. Does he have the ability to play center field? Yes. We've seen him play the other two positions very well. So we'll see.
Is that finding that number 5 spot in the order? Is that if catching is 1A, is finding protection 1B? How important is that to make sure 3 and 4 see pitches?
Yeah, it's important. And it may have to be with someone that's already in organizations. That's
Is it ideal if 1A and B are the same guy? Is it ideal if 1A and B are the same guy?